Boom. We are live. Let me do this. Let me move some people around and we'll do like that. So Kurt, what's going on, buddy?
Hey guys, happy Wednesday. Thanks for having me on.
Happy Wednesday. So for people that are joining us, thank you. There's a couple people that are starting to pop in. We'll before we really get started with Kurt, we'll let some people jump in here, but just as some introductions. Kurt creates and makes his own products. Kurt's Card Care, excuse me, easier for me to say. And Spidey and I are going to talk to him a little bit today. We want to educate people that are in the Marvel card market because, look, it's been a thing that, most Marvel cards aren't graded, right? The majority of them are not graded. Not graded, right? So, but it's starting to be more important than it used to be, right. Because the value of these cards have just astronomically gone up. So it's gotten to be even more important to either grade your cards for if you want to resell them or if you just want to protect them, either way. But when you do a grade, you want to get the best grade possible. And that's what Kurt's going to help us educate you guys on how to do it. So Justin, you go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, look, Kent, first of all, thank you for introducing me to Kurt here. And I'm really excited. I actually haven't dove into what Kurt does. So I'm going to be learning with the viewers, and I'm sure I'll have quite a few questions. I'm not, people ask me all the time because, as an expert in Marvel cards, I get a lot of questions about cards and values and things, but then they're asking me grading stuff. I'm like, hey, look, I've never seen a Marvel card that I don't like. So it's hard for me to grade them bad, And it's funny, I sent some cards recently to a friend who is an expert grader. And out of the 12 cards I sent, only 4 of them were worthy of actually going to be graded. So that's how bad I'm at it, So I'm excited to learn from you tonight. And then I'm really curious because, I'm used to in the comic book world where there's things you can do that is kosher, that isn't viewed as altering or anything like that to improve grades. So I'm really curious, what you're going to share with us tonight and how we might be able to prep our cards without altering them to get the best possible grade. I like to call it best chance of success.
Yeah, I think you said it wonderfully, guys. And that's what we all have in common. Like I'm a very conservative person when it comes to like my cards and my collection, and probably like many collectors, man. Like I'm 40 years old now, and I started doing this when I was 10, and it was like I was telling Kent before, like it was like my first form of currency. Like many guys can relate. Like when I was a kid, man, right. I always wanted stuff, and I realized that, going to garage sales every weekend with my mom and buying comics and cards and stuff, that I would be the guy that would bring them all to school, and I'd have a card shop out of my locker. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I fell in love with it. And I just maybe, like I thought that I was in it for the commerce and selling stuff. And I realized card guys are cool, man. And I'm happy to be one, and happy to be, in the community and with a group of great collectors. And then, like you said, sports cards are 99% of my interest. But I tell you what, man, hanging out with you guys, the Marvel gene kicks right back up in me, because that was like,
that bug will bite you quick, man. That bug will bite you quick.
I love them. Like being drawing and painting and art is a huge part of my life. And like, I was telling Kent the other day, like Joe Jusko like changed my life as a kid. Like I didn't see, comics were like black and white to me until Jusko came. And then it was like Dorothy landing in Oz. I was like, these are awesome, And then it was probably about 10, 12 years ago, I started back to my sports cards. I started sending them into Beckett, and I would, I didn't know. I thought they looked good. They looked centered, because I can tell that. And then I would, if there's like dust around them, I'd wipe, I always have a microfiber close by. And I thought I cleaned them up, and then I sent them in, and I got like 7s and 8s. And I'm like, man, is it just random, or do I have to send a lot more cards in to get a bigger bill, and then they'll give me higher grades or something, And I like BGS because they would give me the subs. And I noticed my weakest scores were typically on the surface, and sometimes on the edges. And So long story short, and I'll let you guys hit me with all the questions you got. I wanted to be a customer of a company like mine. So I started looking for, just Googling, what can I, clean my cards up with, and what can I clean a sports card with or whatever. And, nothing showed up. And it was just, then I'd find YouTube videos of some people using like, different products or whatever, but it was always like an automotive cleaner. And, it just, long story, I won't go too far off base here, but my family owned a dealership growing up.
Okay.
I learned how to make waxes, polishes, and soaps from like 8 years old on up. Like that was a thing that we did, because if you didn't clean your cars, they ain't gonna sell as fast. So I was always programmed of like clean, present, make the new customer feel special about their new purchase. And so I was like, there has to be somebody doing this type of stuff. I couldn't find anything. So like I did what I saw guys on videos doing, like buying Meguiar's wax or things like that. And it hit me real quick that, okay, we're working on a card with a little tiny clear coat on it. An automobile could have a 2 millimeter clear coat on it. There's all kinds of room you can work on it. You can sand a car down and it will shine. But then I was like, you can't do that to a card. Then I started hearing guys saying, some companies are calling this altering if like you're using certain polishes. And I'm like, it makes sense, because if you're sanding away a clear coat and you put that under magnification, and you guys, you can't see my lab in here. I'll I got magnifying glasses everywhere because I'm like a crazy scientist card guy. And I will do every test, man. I buy all the top popular brands of automotive stuff and try it on cards. And man, you can damage a card quickly with automotive products. So I figured, as like an entrepreneur and as a guy that has a background in, like the chemistry of putting these compounds together, I'm like, I'm going to make something that doesn't have any artificial colors. I'm going to make something that doesn't have a bunch of perfume in it. And I'm going to make something, most importantly, without the fine grit or the sanding component, like a polishing wax. I'm just going to make a polish that can, maybe liven up the clear coat or bring a clear coat back. And I started that about 10 years ago. And I started cleaning up my cards and sending them to Beckett. And sure enough, if you have a big old scratch on a card or something like that, my products aren't going to help you. But if you have old dirty cards, or even sometimes if you guys watch my demonstrations, I can even get sometimes those little faint like baby print lines to come off a card,
Oh, wow.
And then I made a tool, you guys, and I'll demonstrate some stuff too. Like as a person that loves to draw and paint, I made this like a paintbrush, so I can paint almost like the edges of a card, and I'll give you guys a demonstration, but like I will rub this around the corners. If you have a big old bend in a card, it's not gonna, I can't save a big bend. But if you have like on these foil cards where they start to peel a little bit in the corners, or they flare up a little bit, I learned how to use my tool to fix them back down. And I purposely use a super soft but tight vinyl where it's not gonna scratch a card's surface. And I just figured, if there's nobody that sells this stuff and I want my cards to look great, I'm just gonna have to make it. And really, guys, it just I was nervous because I didn't know how people would react, honestly, to it. And I didn't feel like explaining a lot. I'm like, I'll just use it on my collection.
Right.
Well, you start the collecting community, we become kind of buds quickly, and guys started asking me to clean their cards for them. And I did it. And then they would send them in and get good grades. And I had met a few guys throughout the country that are group submitters. So like for our Marvel, if you guys that are watching there, if you're pure Marvel, there's a lot of gentlemen throughout the country you can send your cards to, and they'll do a process and clean them and send them in to submit them and whatnot. And those guys were like my first customers. Those guys were buying stuff from me saying, Kurt, we clean a lot of cards up. We're usually using microfibers, sometimes we'll even touch it in a little bit of water to clean the surface and stuff like that. And, it's just, we don't have like a product. So I started hooking up with those guys, and they were using it for years, and they're the ones that really pushed me, saying, man, you should teach other people how to use this stuff. I mean, it's these guys are ethical dudes too. Like, they are not the corner cutters or guys that are, they're good guys. And they gave me the confidence to offer it. And that's what I've been doing for about a year now. And I'm finding tons of like-minded collectors that have reached out to me that say, Kurt, I got a card cleaning kit too. I found out that so many sports card guys have a card cleaning kit of a bunch of stuff that they put together through their, little cleaners or towels or this or that. And then they found my stuff and they said, dude, I don't know. I didn't think of this. I thought we all have our own little kits, our own little cleaning things. And now that you went public and are showing people how to do this, thanks for just helping people out, and showing people how to do this type of stuff, So I hope that wasn't too long of an explanation, guys. That's kind of like the genesis. And that's really kind of like what, led me to do this.
Absolutely.
No, it's great.
Amanda has a question here. She said, not to be argumentative, but can you guys talk about how using something on a card isn't altering? It's just some type of cleaner.
It's a perfect question.
Yeah. And if you guys wouldn't mind, could you say that one more time? I'm just,
it's the thing that you and I kind of talked about a little bit, Kurt, in that, people are always afraid, hey, we don't want to be altering our cards.
Right.
That's the only pushback that we ever get. So show us / tell us, how is it? But it's not. I understand it, but explain to the public how you're not altering a card.
And I think that question was from Amanda. That's like and Amanda, thanks for asking. I'll get a 2-camera setup here in the future if I get a nice invite back by these fellows when I beef up my Marvel collection. But the question is real small. So yeah, so here's my take, you guys, and I could be wrong. I don't have it all figured out, but here's my thought. So you have a card that comes out of a factory. Let's say there's no factory issues, and it's a beautiful card. And throughout the years, fingerprints build up on it, or little oils, or I find little specks of food, little specks of Coca-Cola, stuff that I was screwing around with when I was 10 years old playing with these things, And I would even challenge people to think all this stuff that built up on a card over the years is altering a card. It didn't come that way. Stuff is accumulated on it. And everything that I am using is not, there is nothing that's burning through the clear coat on the card. I got to talk to Kent a little bit, but you guys, I am adamantly against anybody doing anything fishy with a card, like trimming it or cutting it or coloring it. I think that's out of bounds. That is absolutely altering a card. But what I'm using is it goes on and it goes off. And I'm going to even do a couple demonstrations tonight, you guys. And I'm not going to push this on anybody. I'm not going to give you a long sales pitch. I don't even want to give you a sales pitch. I just want to show you guys what I do. And if it's something that looks like a good fit and something you guys would like, you feel good about, go right ahead. And you guys, I have now, maybe close to 1,000, but hundreds, 800 plus customers across the country use my products. And knock on wood, you guys, I would get lit up and roasted if I was if people's cards were getting messed up. And I know you guys don't obviously know me except for this now, but I want to be the guy that the community comes to and goes, Kurt, I got a card issue. Is this fixable? Is there an ethical way to do this? So I purposely even put my name right on the middle of my stuff because I don't want it to be some anonymous company that can disappear real quick. Cleaning cards and selling my products is the easy part. You guys, I answer probably 30 to 40 emails and direct messages a day with guys showing me stuff saying, how can I fix this? Or how can I do this? So the altering thing is if a card was dirty and I cleaned it up and I'm not leaving any product, I'm not hiding it, I'm not putting a Band-Aid on it, I am trying to take it back to the factory finish, and we send them into the grading companies and they grade them and they come back not everything comes back at 10, you guys. Sometimes you could have a 6 and you can turn it into an 8. But if I ever had any feedback from people saying I'm getting marked as an altering a card or it's damaging my card, I would never do this, you guys. I would never offer something like that. So
it seems to me, Kurt, you're just helping people present it the best that they can present it.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. and here's the thing, because like PSA is like my top is from a sports card perspective, my top go-to. And PSA even has a quick blurb on their site because you have to have conditions and boundaries. And they do not put any foreign substances on a card. It's so gray. It's like, like there's foreign substances on this card that I didn't put on. I'm just trying to pull them off, So like, I guess, like I could probably tell this to 10 people and 8 would say, yeah, I'm following you. And 2 would say, nope, you're crazy. I don't believe you. You know what I mean? But, I guess that's pretty common, when it comes to, the public opinion. But yeah, guys, I am a Boy Scout when it comes to this. And I have a long working knowledge of making products and using this type of, doing this type of stuff. So like, I wouldn't ever advocate trying to sand down a card or clip a corner or do something that would get somebody in trouble or hurt their cards. You know what I mean? So I know it's a long answer to Amanda's simple question, but my products are not made to be left on a card or to like fill in a crack and like hide in there. It's really just to help my spray. I have a cleaning spray, you guys, and I'll demonstrate this tonight. This stuff rocks because most people will use like a touch of water. Water out of your sink if you let that dry on a card, you're going to see a hard water spot for a long time, So it was like, I just wanted to make safe products to use that won't damage the card. And then in the sports world, most people like to grade them. And naturally, I couldn't make something that you couldn't send into a grading company or people wouldn't even care about it. You know what I mean? So that's the number one question anybody should ask is what Amanda asked is like, is this altering a card? And if I send in orders and PSA was sending them all back to me saying, I think there might've been a scratch on this at some point, or I think there might've been dirt on this at some point. It just doesn't make any sense. I just don't, I hope that makes sense. I hope that's an okay answer for you guys.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. We've got a couple more questions, and then I'm curious. I would like for you to show us how you approach a card, like the first time you're grabbing it, and take us through that process. But let's get to these questions first.
Please do.
We've got just came in. Where can I buy the product? So not that you're trying to do a salesman, but that is
that's awesome. And what I'm doing, you guys, I'm screwing around with the light over here because it was in bright in my eyes. I apologize.
No, you're great.
You guys, thanks for asking. I mean, and before you buy anything, go to Instagram. I'm under Kurt's Card Care. My YouTube is Kurt's Card Care. My website is kurtzcardcare.com. And before you buy anything, hey, there you go. Thank you, Kent. I appreciate that. I should be more prepared with my kit here, but I'll show you in action here in a second. And here's another thing. If you guys have cards at home that you're like, hey, I want to know if this would you suggest using your product, or do you think this would work? I want you to direct message me with pictures first. I don't want you. This might sound cheesy, but like, say I get 10 messages a day of people saying, I want to buy your stuff to fix this card. You guys, seriously, probably 5 out of the 10, I say that's unfixable. And I don't want you to buy my stuff because I don't want you to be disappointed. If somebody shows me a card with a big old scratch in the middle, Kurt's Card Care ain't going to fix it. But if you have a dirty old refractor or a dirty foil card, or even, sometimes I have a Spider-Man Marvel masterpiece I'm going to show you guys. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but we're going to try it live. It has a factory line, like a rub down the middle. Stuff like that you can go after. And like, I don't know. I mean, as card collectors, I think we like touching stuff. We like holding our investments and looking at them and presenting them and grading them and going to shows and showing other people and trading them. Like we're commerce driven people. So the thing is, I think that, when you can do this, it's satisfying too. You know what I mean? I can sit in my basement and clean cards for hours, and it's just a good time. You know what I mean? So I'll give you guys some live demonstrations, but thank you for asking. You guys check out my site anytime you want. Awesome.
Off-White Tim says, seems like the natural evolution of grading cards, similar to pressing and cleaning comics. And, I've always kind of been leery of the way comics are approached in comparison to cards. There does seem to be a difference.
And Kent was telling me about this pressing the other night. You guys, this is where I'm going to admit that I'm I could be a little bit of a noob when it comes to pressing. I get it. Like, I was an idiot, you guys. I had the best Bronze Era comic books in the world, and I was 26 and I needed to sell them. And I sold them like for $3,000, and I had like all the key players from all those eras, and they were boarded and packaged and beautiful. So like, I'm an idiot when it comes to comic books. Okay, you guys. So like, I blew it. But I guess, like, I don't know enough about pressing a comic. I don't know. I just don't know. I mean, I guess, like, here's the thing. If you can press a comic book and send it to a grading company and they're cool with it, well, I mean, it's your personal private property. And if that's what you choose to do with your personal private property and a grading company doesn't care, I guess who would I be to judge? You know what I mean? But there's probably a lot more to it, you guys. So I don't want to, like,
It's such a difference to me when you're talking about comics. I mean, those things, they get like ticks and bends and creases and stuff like that. And so that's how the condition of it is. So it's like if I had a card and it had a bend or a crease in it, and I had some process that did something to me that would be altering a card back to where that crease doesn't show up, even though it's been bent.
Yeah.
I think that's a little different. Whereas
Yeah,
what
that's
you're
a good
talking
point.
about is you're talking about is removing foreign substances that shouldn't be on the card,
That's
or
right.
something that is on there that shouldn't be on there, that didn't come from the factory. We're not talking about altering a card. Like if it's off center, Kurt's card carry ain't going to change that.
No.
If it's got a monster print line that is like, deep, it's not going to change anything.
No.
What you're doing is basically helping the surface of the card look as good as it can.
Right. And you guys, also another thing, like, you could get like probably 10 cards with print lines on them, and you could go 0 for 10 with Kurt's card care. But it's always worth a shot because it doesn't alter the card and it doesn't leave a residue. It doesn't mess it up. Like, another thing, you guys, like, I'm crazy, but I blacklight every single card that I clean too, because I want people to see there is not some residue left behind. I don't suggest this, but if you guys want to screw around and do some tests, go get turtle wax and put it on a card and try to wipe it off, and then put this thing on it. You're going to see white specks all over the top of it because it's penetrating into every single little crack on that card. And so I just had kind of a thought, when it comes to the pressing the comics. I think if there was a process to put a card, which there is, in like a press, and add heat and steam it down, I'm not cool. I wouldn't be cool with that. I don't really have, I guess, like, even though my corner and edge tool, I'm slowly putting little corners and little edges back down. I do think putting in some sort of apparatus and like steaming it down and like, using humidity to flatten it back and stuff like that, that is a little bit, that's getting into the fringe for me. That could be a little out of bounds. I wouldn't even do it personally, because like I got a couple cards I'm working on this week. You guys, I know this is not as Marvel, but these are Tom Brady rookie cards that are just big dogs. These are the 2000 Fleer showcases, several $1,000s a piece. And I'm going to crack these this week and go after the surface on these, because I just see old fingerprints and stuff on them. But like, if you put a card like that, one of these, in some sort of heat and a press, you're going to ruin the whole thing. You know what I mean? So it's like, if I can't fix it with just my 3 simple products, I call it a day and I'm done with it. And that's the way the card's going to look forever.
So you'll like to answer this question. Bryce says, "How did you discover this product?"
Yeah, well, Bryce, I I made it, man, because I couldn't find anybody else that made it. I figured somebody else made it, and if Bryce is just,
so you make all of your own products.
Everything I make here, man. I being that when I worked in a dealership, it's extreme. You have to be very, very careful when you're putting together a polish out of organic hydrocarbons at pressure and high temperatures. Like, it is not a joke. This is stuff that you have to be very careful with. As a kid, I was born into that family, and I've always known how to make this stuff. So you guys, anything that you see, Kurt's, it's all made by me. Like, I even go for my corner tools, you guys, I buy 50-inch stock wood. I cut every single one of them. I have a wood lathe where I sand all this down so I can fit my tubing on it. I sand them all down so they're comfortable in your hands. I stain them. I'm sure I could just make these in 2 seconds, but I'm such a perfectionist. I want it to be great, you know? So like just having a background, Bryce, of working in automotive and knowing how to build chemicals and always being kind of just, you know, a chemist at heart and just an artist at heart. I just, after I couldn't find it, if my wife was on this broadcast, she would be happy to throw me under the bus because it was about 10 years ago I started this. I started making traditional polishes like I used to make at the dealership, and our house would reek. And she'd be like, "You got to stop this." And I'm like, "Trust me, honey, this is fun. I'm gonna clean up my cars." And she's like, "No, you got to stop this." And that's when I'm like, you can't tell me to stop. I'm OCD. I'm crazy. I will not quit until I fail. And so then I just kept on. It's hard when you take a lot of stuff out of traditional automotive waxes. It's hard to like make a polish that's not full of all the stuff that you can freely use on a car. So Bryce, I just 10,000 hours of building it wrong before I ever offered it to anybody else, and just coming up with the consistency I like, coming up with the results I like, and that's how it all came together, man.
Cool.
So Swami says he's been afraid to clean cars, but always wanted to. Microfiber cloths was the furthest he has ever taken it. Is that what you?
I can relate to him 100% because that's as far as most people have ever taken it. And if you don't have the experience, or like I find everything that I'm good at, I've always had a mentor. Like I can't take a lot of credit for being that original. You know, everything that I do is like I've been taught by good card guys or by good automotive guys. And you can't really see it all, guys, but I'm a musician as well. I'm in a studio, and like I've become good at music by playing with the best guys in the business, you know? So like I hope that you guys, if anybody's intrigued by this or interested in this, don't you be shy. You can direct message me with questions anytime. I don't care if you're the brand new to this. Frankly, that's a good place to start because you don't have a bunch of bad habits, you know, and I can show you stuff easily. So you guys hang tight. We're going to do some demonstrations tonight, and I'll show you that it's nothing to be nervous about or scared about or anything like that. And the more experience you have, you'll know what's doable and what's not, you know? So great question.
Yes.
Justin, put that last question back up. That's a really important one. The one that you just had up there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Swami was asking if there's any surfaces that you need to stay away from.
Yes. So really, guys, my spray and my polish, my whole angle of how to do this safely is by going after that protective clear coat and being able to clean the clear coat. If you had like everybody knows probably what a vintage card looks like, right? You know, like even I'll go Marvel. Like what was the like 90 Marvel,
90 MU.
Marvel? You know how they're like cardboard cards? You don't
not 90 MU. It has a gloss. You're probably thinking more like 87.
Oh, yeah.
Colossal
Paper.
So, or if let's say we all grew up collecting some baseball cards, like 70s and 80s baseball cards don't really have a protective layer on them at all. They're like cardboard, you know. And both of even whether it's my polish or my spray, they're both liquid based because they need to have a lubricant to clean that clear coat. So don't go after cards with a matte finish, only a gloss finish. Now you can work on corner tool with any corners or any card there is with my corner tool, but like if there is a card like a PMG, like I enjoyed your special the other night about PMGs, and that was super fascinating, right? So on the back of a PMG, it's going to have a serial number on it. It's going to have a run. That is printed, you guys, on top of the clear coat. So that's not under it. That's on top of the clear coat. You don't want to be polishing or using spray cleaner on something that's on top of the clear coat because my products take stuff off that's on top of the clear coat. So if you're cleaning up a, number 9 of 10 serial number and you pull off a bunch of gold on your cloth, my products work. It cleared off the top of the clear coat.
the
Don't do that. And you guys,
most common one that I've seen, and you did the kabooms, which is the biggest insert that everybody
Yeah.
goes after in sports cards are these kabooms that, I mean, you've got a bunch of them, but I know like Daniel, great curator, is a friend of ours. He had a gold kaboom Brady, which I know you have.
yeah, I do.
Those kabooms, they're that part of the card that is like the front of a PMG is great, but when the lettering and the stuff that's on there is on top, you don't want to mess with that. You
You're
want
right.
to stay away from that.
And so like, yeah, like, so even like on a PMG, you guys, like PMGs are huge in basketball too. Like they are, and I see that I didn't even know that jambalayas are in Marvel now, man. Like that's huge basketball stuff, you know, big money stuff. And I'm happy to see it's trending over into the cards. Like, man, the 90s were awesome. They're coming back, and they're all in the Marvel cards and the sports cards. Like today's sports cards are all the same effects and the same foils as the 90s stuff. So I love it. But my point is, you guys, if there's something on top of the clear coat and like a kaboom card or like a PMG, well, the PMG are real images, but if it's like a cartoon on top of the clear coat, like a kaboom, you don't want to rub on top of that image. Here's the easy part, you guys. When anybody orders off me, I don't just put it in the mail and send it. When I get an order, they get an email from me with best practices of here's what I want you to do. Don't do this, do this, don't do this, don't do this. Number 3, you hit me up anytime you have questions, because I don't want anybody getting adventurous and getting Kurt's Card Care and going to a $2,000 to $10,000 PMG on their first crack. I want you guys like get crappy cards and put like, I don't know, get a crappy card and dip your finger in like, I don't know, like syrup or something nasty and smear it all over the card and let it dry for 2 weeks. Then work on that card. If you have a card with some like surface issues that's expensive, find another card from that set that sucks with the same surface issues and try it on that. Practice. And like, it's everything I'm doing, you guys, is like, it has a bit of technique to it. So I don't want people to feel like, okay, I got Kurt's Card Care kit in the mail. Now let's get out my most expensive card and try to like work on this bad boy. Yeah, I want you to, you know, in the future, but I want you to get comfortable first and ask me questions first.
Yeah. Hey, so Kurt, I have a question. And this is coming from me, someone who is not a big time grader. So if, let's say, PSA's head grader was on our live with you.
Yeah.
What kind of questions or what kind of concerns would they have as it relates to protecting the integrity of grading with using your product and techniques?
Yeah, the biggest, you know, one of my dreams is I would love to have an endorsement from PSA or BGS. That would be and I'm not going to quit. That's on my list. I want to meet these dudes at like a show, or I would fly to their headquarters and demonstrate for them and say, can you please check this now and make sure this is all in bounds? Because we send you cards and you guys send them back. So I got to assume that they're in bounds, but that's the thing. I don't want to like, I'm not slick. I don't want to hide or like try to get away with something. You know, I want to be fully endorsed of like, as a good guy that does a good product. So like, I would be blessed if one of those guys was ever watched one of these things. Cause I would take any steps I could to get to those people to see their take on my stuff, you know, but my customers grade cards every day, and if you guys follow me, they always post them, and like I'll share the results and stuff, because you know, people need to see that. But yeah, I just I would encourage anybody that if the PSA guy was a grader and watched this video, I would be open to anything he had to say to me, because I don't know it all. You know, I'm just trying my absolute best as a collector and as a, you know, person that likes to create cool things for other people, I guess.
I love it. Thank you. Well, look, do you want to get to the process?
Yeah, let's do it, you guys. Let's get to the fun part, man. So check it out, you guys. My camera's going to move around for a second. So let me, I got to flip it to the back screen. And
all right. What's up, Marvel Marshall? Say hello to a couple of people.
Yeah. Tort.
Yeah. He's got a box of 95 Marvel Masterpiece. Yes, we do. We do need to open that. That would be a lot of fun.
Jago, Brian Den, what's up? Justin Udell.
Here he goes. Yep. Jacob's always so good. Appreciate you, man.
All right. So can you guys still hear me? I switched to the back camera. Is this cool?
Yeah, you look good. You sound good.
All right, good. So here's what I want to do, you guys. Like,
He's just saying you look good. You got a Spidey card on the screen.
yeah, let's get to the good stuff. You know what I mean?
I love it.
So you guys, this was but Marvel Masterpiece, like I said, that was like, you know, it was 92 when these came out, and I couldn't get enough of them because fortunately I'm a good drawer, so I'd copy every single one of these, man. I have notebooks of these drawings.
Hey,
And
so Kurt, I have my Joe Juiceco Spider-Man in the webs drawing on my wall from my childhood.
awesome, man. Isn't
Yeah.
that cool? Like I just you know, and I'll buy anything. Like I still will go through eBay and buy comics with Jusco's autograph on them just because he mean a lot. The guy's awesome, you know. So
I actually am going to be receiving pretty soon a sketch from him inside of his 92 Marvel Masterpiece, coffee table book.
oh man, what a cool piece to have, you know, just such an amazing artist. It's just sometimes I could see a million, you know, a ton of drawings that don't hit me, but this guy just knows what he's doing. And well, I'm going to do you guys, for all of our viewers, I did before and after pictures of this because I'm going to try to do my best, but you know, I'm going through a screen and we're going live, but like, here's what I have on this card. Okay. So let's size it up first. So the first thing I'm going to look for is, you know, obviously the centering is going to come the way it is. And through my experience, most Marvel masterpieces are centered fairly well. You know, I have like 4 or 5 sets of these, and most of them look pretty good. But like one thing that's on this one, you guys, can you see that? Can you see this white speck here in the corner and that
It's like a flyaway type. Yeah.
Right, but most people say, "Oh, that's a soft corner. There's white there."
Right. So I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you something we can do there. And now, you guys, right here. Okay, so I'm going to move my finger, but right here, there is some sort of stuff on the surface. It's not heavy.
Yeah, you can see the glare. The glare picks it up. Yeah,
but I can't. And that what I won't get excited and get ahead of myself. But then there is I took pictures of it, guys, and Kent, I'll send them to you. There is a soft line going up the middle, right where Spider-Man's arms meet. I'm going to try to get the light on this.
Yeah, I see it.
See it?
Yeah.
Right there.
Is that like something was set on top of it or pressed down on it?
What I think it is, guys, is probably me putting this in a top loader without a penny sleeve for 30 years. And even though it didn't go anywhere, these cards, you see how they have that natural kind of curve to them, where that center part will be the touch point on the top loader, you know. And so just after years of minor movements, whether it was just like picking it up or something, it developed a little wear mark down the center. And another thing, guys, like it probably looks decent on the camera, but in person, this card has little pieces of like, it's just a little dull. It's not as shiny as it should be. So let me get started on this one, you guys, and I'll show you like my process. So the first thing I want to do, I always want to do edges and corners first, so I don't have to touch them anymore. And then if a card is dirty, I'll do the spray to get the dirt off. And then once it's clean, I could stop there. Or if it has a dullness, I'll do a little bit of touch of polish on it. So I'm going to show you guys something real quick that has nothing to do with my card care kit. And all of you guys can do this at home. This corner is not bent, but it has like a little bit of paper.
It's like sticking up.
So you guys, can you see? Obviously, we see the white cardboard, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is a piece of the white cardboard popping out. So I'm going to use some painter's tape because it's not sticky where it's going to stick to my card, but it's just light enough where I can touch corners and pull these little flyaways off. Look at that.
Yeah.
So it's on my painter's tape, and now it's not there.
Look at that.
Right? So that is just a quick tip, you guys, because I would get slammed by graders on edges. And then I'd look at my edges and I'd realize there's a bunch of like little sandpaper or little things. So I started using the painter's tape on there and it cleans them all up 1, 2, 3. So now what I want to do is I want to get you guys a good angle here.
I got a question. What are you setting the card on right now? What type of...
This is a little, this is material that I enjoy. It's actually an audio foam, you guys. And it's like expensive stuff for like studio and wall, but I buy rolls of it and I cut it to this shape and I include it in my kit for card collection because I like to have a nice mat to work on. You know,
it's right there in the kit. It's rolled up right there.
And it's I know I could say, hey, put it on a mouse pad or something like that, but I want collectors to open up my kit and be like, it's all here. I don't need to go buy another thing. So what I'm going to do, guys, first is this little thing that I have up here in the corner. And like I said, Ken, I'll even send you pictures afterwards because I took a lot of pictures. I'm going to try to
it's all good. We can see that. Yeah.
Cool. I'm going to try to clean it first since it's a stuff. I call things on the surface stuff. It's a word you guys will hear me use if you watch my videos. So it's just stuff. There's stuff on it. So what I'm going to use is a cotton square. Okay. And I'm never going to just start shooting on the card. I'm going to off camera. I'm going to hit this cotton square. You'll probably hear it. 2 little hits on there. Okay. So also, I know this is probably not a highly valuable card, but let's just pretend it is. So I'm going to use a
PSA 10. That card's about $1,200 right now.
All right, then it's a good one. then here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use this penny sleeve because I don't want my dirty hands on it. And I'm going to go after this trouble area first. And if everything goes according to plan, I'll be able to lift that stuff off.
And is there a technique to the way that you're wiping?
Oh, good question. Thanks for saying that. Sometimes I just do this so much that I don't say these little things. Yes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go in one direction. And I don't want to go in a lot of directions because I could catch an edge or a corner. So I'm going to protect my edges and corners with my penny sleeve. And I'm just going to clean down. And you guys, I make my spray, it evaporates super fast. So when you're doing this, the last thing you want to leave on a card is moisture, you know? And so it will, in a perfect world, it's going to go on real quick and it's going to come off real quick and it's going to dry. And I want to see, guys, let's look at it together. I'm going to use a microfiber real quick because between everything, I always microfiber it because I don't want to do more cleaning or prepping if it's not necessary. You know what I mean?
So what is the microfiber doing that you didn't do with the cleaning pad?
What it is doing, it's getting it to a baseline where I know there's absolutely not one drop or any moisture content left. I can run this over the card now and it's super smooth. And I can tell that there's no more spray or anything left on there. Now, even you guys, just this card I haven't touched in ages because it was just in one of my open sets. It's hard. It might be a little hard to see this. Yeah, it's too bright, you guys, but this is already dingy from just doing that simple wipe over. And now that piece in the corner that was right there, that thing lifted up, whatever it was. But we still got that print line or that abrasion line down the middle.
Right.
There it is. So now I got my corner done. Fortunately, that substance picked up whatever I had going on right there. Now, you guys, I want to, fingers crossed, because we got viewers. I want to, hopefully we can get that little line off the center. And I'm going to switch, you guys. I'm going to use my little polish, and I want to use an applicator. These are also, I include these in my kit because you just want to get in and get out. You know, you don't want to be hands all over these things. So like what I'm going to do, and I see
while you're doing that, Kurt, I don't know if you could see that.
Yeah, I can read that one. The only way that you could rub off color is if you were working on a card without a clear coat. So like if you guys want a baseline of like what I'm saying, like what's a clear coat, I'm sure most Marvel collectors are familiar with Marvel Masterpiece, and any card that has like a shine like this, you guys, it's safe to work on. And again, practice, practice, practice. I even try, you guys, I push the limits. I'll buy like old cardboard cards and I'll put stuff all over them to see what their breaking point is really, you know? And if you work on like vintage cards and put like polishes or sprays on them, it's not that the color comes off, they bubble up right away because they're wet. You know, it's almost like putting water on a piece of paper. It gets all wrinkly and distorted right away. So I'm going to do, guys, that what I did is I'll pick it up so the viewers can see it. But already that line that I had on there is slowly like lifting up and fading out.
So what is making the line lift up? That's what I'm not understanding.
What it is, you guys, is this polish that I'm putting on will go on, and it will, in theory, you guys, you see I'm letting it dry for a second, but not letting it dry like rock hard. It will get a good grip on if there's any like clingers on the surface, just like I'm going to be careful when I say this, like an automotive wax. It will grab a hold of any stuff that's like on top of the surface and pull it off. So that's, and that one, okay, that did it, you guys. That one that I just did right there, and I'm going to hold it up so you guys can see it in the angle.
And we also have another question from Amanda. Doesn't polish have to leave something behind, like in the said line?
Here's the thing. That's a great question, Amanda. A lot of these abrasions or stuff that you'll see, like, I don't know if you guys, I know it's like we've been looking at the same card the whole time, but it is tremendously shinier just from a simple spray and a simple polish. And that line that went through Spidey's arms, I was successful. That's the web obviously going down right there. Yeah. But that little abrasive line.
Yeah, so I think what she's asking is, okay, so is there like something that's crammed into that crease now that's left behind that somebody's going to pick up?
No, you know what, guys? Because if there's not even this front of this card, you guys, now there's not even an indent from that line. It was something that was on top of the card, that like where it was rubbing on the top of the top loader. And there is not, if there's an indent, Amanda, if you're working on a card with like a deep scratch in it, that's inverted, not extroverted or on top of the surface, you're not going to get anywhere. It's going to stay dug in there. But this stuff, like when you guys, for my sports cards friends, and you guys, it might be a Marvel card thing too. If you have indents in a card that are dug into a card, like we call them print lines a lot in the sports card industry, they are on top of the card. It's almost like a roller rolled on top of it and left like a faint line on top of the clear coat. Through the polish is good at loosening up whatever that hard remnant is and pulling it right off, and it leaves a shine. I hope that helps you guys if you can see that.
So, I don't know if you see my hand. So are you saying the indent is down?
Okay, so let me say this. So like say this. So like say I got to make a dramatic point. Say I got my pen and I scratched into the card and it has a dent in the card and a scratch. I can't lift out dents, guys. So if there's like a large or even a scratch that's into the clear coat, my polish will not build you a new clear coat. So it's not gonna like fill in a crack and dry harden the crack. It's
only to remove foreign substances that are on top of it.
Yeah, and it will also, since I make it, you guys, like in a polished format, it will go on there quick and smooth, and it will leave a bit of a shine. And I'll even, you guys, let me show you something. I don't know if this will look weird on camera, but let's give it a try. I'm going to go dark here for a second, you guys. Okay. So here's a black light.
Jusco's cars still look good under a black light.
They do. They
look great. It looks better, I think.
And I tell you guys, if you had, and I'm looking at, I know I got the advantage of looking at it like in person around the camera, but check this out. I'm even, nope, I'm looking at that spot that I cleaned in the corner.
Yeah.
Black light, you guys, if you guys are new to cleaning cards,
Mhm.
I suggest getting a good ring light and a black light, because I swear the more you look at something too, kind of like your eyes like get used to the imperfections, I guess. So when I'm done cleaning something, I always put it under a black light to make sure I'm not leaving any remnants behind, and it's just that I'm not missing anything.
So
So
Kurt,
yeah.
are you, I'm gonna use the word trained, it may be too strong of a word, but are you trained to look at a card like a grader does? And if so, can you exhibit that for us?
Yeah, you know what I do? I don't know. I've never met a person that professionally grades cards. I wish I could. I would ask them a million questions. I'm gonna come back to you guys. Let me come back. I'm gonna go back. So, Spidey, you guys, I didn't know this was so valuable in a PSA 10. So I'm glad you tipped me off on that. So I'm gonna come back to you guys.
Mhm.
Front camera. All right.
So Serious Collector has a statement here. He says, sorry, but you never want to apply anything, even with cotton on it, with a pointed object. Always want to clean it with being a flat to the card.
I'm not sure if I totally understand. Another thing about cotton, you guys, always 100% lint-free cotton. Cheap cotton will have fillers and fibers in it that could scratch a card. And if let me read. I'm sorry, I got to get real close for Serious Collector. Sorry, but I never want to apply anything, even with a cotton on it, with a pointed object. Always want to clean it. And you know what? I am not even going to challenge him. If that's how he does it, that's how he does it, man. You know, there's a lot of ways to bake a cake. And I am not going to stand up here and say that my way is better than his way or worse or whatever. You know, it's kind of the Wild West when it comes to cleaning up your cards. But through my experience and having, you know, tons of customers, thank God, that share the results with me, it's working for us. You know what I mean? So like, I respectfully take his, opinion, and
I think what he's saying, Kurt, is you don't like when you're using your polish tool there, like it's not a pointy, hard object.
No.
It's something that thing is flat on the applicator itself, right?
Yeah.
You're applying it like that, and it's soft, right?
And it's super soft, you guys. And
Right,
you know what?
right.
And you know how many times you use this? Once, and you throw it away, because you never use a cotton again. You never use an applicator again. You guys, these are not something I invented. These are camera cleaning lenses, for cleaning camera lenses, and they're automotive detailers. Like a detailer will get in a car and do a dash with these things, and they work awesome on cards. And being that I'm an active grader and cleaner, it produces great results for me. And so I hope that helps. But I would never diss somebody's feedback or comment. It's totally cool, man. He can
Kurt,
he can do what he wants to do.
What is what's the biggest card you've worked on?
Oh God, man. I have to go sports, you guys. I mean, I don't know if you guys watch any of my videos, but like last week I cleaned up 2 Brady championship tickets, 2002 championship tickets. I mean, they're raw. So I'd say between $4 and $5 grand a piece. Let's see what else.
What about that Kaboom Brady that you worked on?
Yeah, I mean, kabooms are expensive. I did a kaboom last week, and that kaboom's probably $2 grand. I even have past submissions on my page. My last BGS submission, I had 2 Brady color blasts and 2 Patrick Mahomes color blasts. The last Brady color blast sold for $22,000 on eBay the other day, and I have 2 of those in Jim Mentz, and I have 2 Mahomes in Jim Mentz. And I'll use if I can use my stuff on a $5 card, I can use it on a $10,000 card. It doesn't trip me up. It doesn't make me nervous. It's like I know the process and I know what I'm doing, so I don't get anxious about a more valuable card or less. I treat them all the same,
So with that, just in the treat them all the same, do you approach a card differently if it's going to PSA versus BGS versus SGC?
No. I just do the four checkdowns, you guys. I look at the surface under the light, and if I can see any junk or stuff on it, I clean it off. If I see anything dull or anything like that, I'll shine it up. I look at the edges and the corners. Beckett tells us where to look. surface, edges, and corners. And hey, centering is just, it is what it is. You know what I mean? But, you know, but for the things that I can,
We promised this left to right centering over here a little bit.
yeah, you know, so I look in those areas and then I'll just go after them and see if I can, you know, gently and carefully clean them up, you know. But I do know, here's another thing too, guys. I know that probably graders, I assume this, so I could be wrong. I assume that they probably have a very busy job and they're like busy all day long and it takes forever. So I think it's a common courtesy to get your cards clean as possible for the best grade possible, but also package them well. You guys, I suggest, I like Beckett Shield.
Yeah.
So I'll put my cards in a penny sleeve and then in a Beckett Shield, because when the graders get these, they don't try to pull them out. They clip the sides and they pull them right out and grade that way.
Yeah.
I just try to make
the other one is Card Saver ones, same thing.
Yep.
So
which I don't know if you saw my video recently, the eBay authentication process, which we're still chewing on whether that's good or bad.
Yeah.
They send them back to you in one of these, which then you can send it right to grading if you wanted to.
Yeah.
What about, do you use that Beckett Shield regardless of the thickness of the card, or do you adjust?
Great question. That's why I'll show you. I use only these, the large ones. So I can put thicker stack cards in them, and I can put the thinner cards in them. And then after I put them in a Beckett sleeve or Beckett rigid, semi-rigid, I'll put it in a team bag as well, because I don't want any dust or anything getting in there in transit.
All right, I have a follow-up question for like newbies.
Yeah.
Can we watch you put a card in a penny sleeve? Is there a technique?
Yeah, actually there is, you guys, and I'm happy to do that. Here's what I'll do. I don't have my razor blade next to me, you guys. What I do is in a penny sleeve, I slice the top corner just a tiny bit. And if you guys don't mind,
take time.
Let me grab my razor blade. You guys, I'll be right back.
Yeah. I'll say also, while he's doing that, there's a type of by the way, just so everybody knows, we don't have discount codes or deal with Kurt or any of that stuff. We're just trying to get knowledge out there.
Kurt,
same thing with this.
Why did you discount code?
What? I'm sorry. What was that?
People are asking,
hang on,
why did you discount code?
We don't have any of that.
Go ahead.
The other one that I use is smooth sleeves. Have you seen these, Kurt? Smooth sleeves?
No, are they? I'm sure if they're easy to use, I would be.
Well, so what this is it's a product, and you probably can't see it on camera, but there's a little lip or an extra edge above the normal part of the sleeve.
Nice.
So what you do is when you put the card, I don't have a raw card with me. When you put the card in the sleeve, if you press lightly on that back little lip, it opens the sleeve and goes in, and it doesn't catch the corners.
Dude, you guys send me a link to that, man.
I will, but what you're talking about is what anybody did before anybody knew about these, and I just try to order more of these, and they're out.
Because you guys, I have penny sleeves for days, so I get my little hobby knife. Give the corner a little slice, and then like since I found out that the Spider-Man is more valuable than I thought. Thanks for the tip. I'm the noob on this show. Guys, I'll put it in that corner, and then that way, ready to go.
It doesn't ever catch an edge.
The angle you used is interesting. You don't try to go straight down, right?
Right. I go on that angle and I pop it in there because I butchered so many cards, you guys. Like, I'm Kurt's Card Care now, but I was like a card butcher for years. I learned all the hardest ways. You know what I mean?
Kurt's Card Cutter.
Yeah, because I would get a card like super clean, and then I'd have a hard time putting it in a semi-rigid because I was buying all like the smallest ones. And after I do all this work, I don't even want to deal with that. I get the bigger ones, pop it right down in it, and just get it in place, good to go. So that's, be careful using penny sleeves are awesome, but like I'm glad you guys brought that up because they can be also the game changer for you as well.
Yeah, I've damaged some corners. There's no.
I have to. It's everybody watching this has to. They all know. They feel our pain.
Papa Juju, what's up?
Yep.
Sorry,
My dad-
Justin's dad popped in.
No,
Dad-
man.
he's eyeballing your guitars in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tell you guys, I'm a simple guy. Cards, guitars, and automobiles. That's it. That's like my 3 favorite things, and fortunately I get to stay involved with them most days, you know what I mean? So yeah,
Tell us the type of music that you play.
I would be, being that I'm a guitar player, it would be anything rock and rock rooted in blues, man. Like I'm talking to you guys from Detroit.
Yeah.
And in a past life, you guys, I worked at I worked at an awesome, I was a DJ for 16 years, and I worked at the biggest radio station in Detroit. It's called 101 The Riff in Detroit. And I got to live out like my childhood and like fantasies, man. I got to interview all my favorite bands. I'm in a studio right now, and I'm surrounded with autographs from Guns N' Roses and Velvet Revolver, Metallica. I got to meet Chris Cornell a couple times, and
Ooh, yeah.
so like music is a huge part of my life, and I just appreciate it. So yeah, anything that rocks, man, I'll play, but I got 3 kids and they're starting to like get involved too. So like I have to learn some Taylor Swift now and then too.
So what I hear you saying is that you clean cards better when you have music in the background.
Always music in the background. I don't want to think. I just want to enjoy and be satisfied and see some progress. You know what I mean? So absolutely.
Love it, man.
And if you guys want, if the viewers want, I had one more card with a couple spots and specs on it. It's out of the same collection, you guys. It's one of the Spectra cards. And this one has it has like a buildup. So if you guys want me to give it a shot, I'm happy to do a Hulk verse thing for you guys.
Let's do it.
All right, cool. Let me
Heck yeah. That's awesome. I was just laughing when you held the card up. I was like, gee, that looks familiar.
I tell you, man, those were, I would wake up thinking about those things like in 4th grade going, who am I going to trade to get Wolverine versus Sabretooth today? You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Oh,
and oh my gosh, I have about 120 cards at PSA that I sent last year. And I literally just pulled them out of the sleeve and put them in a card saver and sent them to PSA. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
But, like, were they modern era and were they nice and new?
They're all 90s.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm hoping the best, of course, but like the thing is, you guys, if any viewers are out there that are afraid to crack slabs or nervous about that, you guys, I have demonstrations on all this stuff. I'm going to be cracking these Brady's out of these slabs this week because I'm confident I can bring them from an 8 till an 8.5 or at least a 9.
So, Kurt, you have the product you sell, but it sounds like you offer a service outside of providing the product.
That's a question I get asked a lot, you guys. And currently, no. I frankly would be swamped. I run a different business during the day, an entertainment business where we do tons of events around Metro Detroit. And I think if I opened up my services to cleaning other cards, I think I would be swamped in cards and I would be like anxious and not having fun. So like everything you guys see me clean on my demos are like mine.
Yeah.
But maybe someday, maybe that would be...
I thought about this. Instead of giving a man a fish, he's teaching a man to fish.
That, you guys, that was Kent. That's exactly what was my thought, because do you know what makes me the most nervous about cleaning other people's cards? It has nothing to do with cleaning them. Shipping and handling and holding and getting them to a place. It makes me nervous. Yeah. And I just would, and so like I do have a few key friends that are like local and like they'll bring me their stuff and like I'll work on it for them. But I currently don't have like send me your cards and I'll clean them. If I ever changed gears, I would absolutely let people know. But like what I wanted to try to get off this one.
Well, hey, Kurt, sorry, we have a viewer request. If you could do the black light before.
Yeah, let's do it. And the black light will pick up like any substances or whatnot. So let me grab my light, guys. Let's try it. Let's go dark and see what happens on this.
Let's see if it looks as good as Spidey under the black light.
So
No.
I'm gonna have to
No.
pick it up, you guys, and
Spidey's eyes were glowing, man. That was awesome.
I'm impressed how good Hulk looks. Not in the black light, but when he had it.
all right. So before, I do not see any, and you guys, stuff that will be stuff you want to look for in a black light. You'll see like bright white specks, like it'll look hot. You'll notice it right away.
And what does that mean when you see that?
It just means it could be like some dried oil or a piece of food or anything that is on the card's surface that shouldn't be there.
Would a heavy fingerprint show up under black light?
It would, but I bet you not on this video. I would be able to see it. You'll be able to see it. If you guys own black lights and you're looking at these in person at your house, you could see a big, thick fingerprint. But a thick fingerprint is going to show, I don't know if you guys can see this. I'll turn on the light. There is a stain right above Hulk's fist, and I'll show it to you guys under the real light that I didn't even see before doing this with you guys. There is absolutely like a hard circle. It's like a brown circle above Hulk's hand. And then I have some like buildup under Hulk's tricep. And it looks like it's just like, I don't know what it is. Just something. I was going through this preparing after Ken graciously invited me to do this with you guys. And I was like, I got to step up my Marvel game because it's not my norm. So that was I'm so happy. Whoever asked that to do the black light before, thank you for that, because we're going to do it afterwards too. So yeah. There is
thank you.
That was a really good question. I promise you guys I'll send more pictures. I get so anal about this that I'm like, I wish I could see it better on there. But take my word for it. There's a like a dried circle above his hand, and then I'm going to get you guys to see this in the light.
So this card in a PSA 10 is probably $600 to $700.
That's awesome. Let's get it there. Okay, can you see the buildup on the surface? Look in that ring light. Can you see it? And I'm going to put the actual circle on it. Don't look in the middle of it. Look on the. There's like I can hear it. There's like a crunchy thing on.
Like where his lat is.
Yeah,
like under his armpit a little bit.
And I see it. I see it. It stays elevated.
See the junk.
Mm-hmm.
That, and then on the back, you guys, of this card, I was going through this. There is I could not remove this spot with a microfiber.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
And you guys, all to the viewers, if all I have to use is a microfiber, that's all I'll use. I'm not going to put polish and spray on cards if I can just do a microfiber. There's no reason to go through all these steps if you don't need to. But like, for example, whatever this is under Hulk's arm, it's hard. I'm not happy without. I want them to see it better. There's a chunk under there. So what I want to do, you guys, is it's like a dull spot, and I'm not sure what it is. So I don't even care what it is. But what I'm going to try to do, since it's not dirty, I just want to see if I can use a little bit of my polish to lift it up. Now you got to be careful because you see this foil on the card.
The gold foil.
I don't want to put, and it's exposed foil too. So I don't even want to touch it. My polish, you guys, is very light, and there's no like heavy, like I don't use like acetone or crap that's like heavy or toxic in this stuff. So it's real light. So I would.
It looks like you're barely touching it.
Exactly. Because I just want to put a little bit of the polish on there and see if I can safely scoot this crap off. And you guys notice I'm going towards the edge. I'm not going to bring it back in because I would bend the edge.
So instead of using the word polish, I'm just, for someone who doesn't work around these kind of products, it's really it's grabbing. Is that what it's doing? It's like.
Exactly. It's going to grab onto it tightly. And when I wipe it, it's going to, in theory, provide enough lubricant and enough grip to pull whatever the hell's off of it. And
without damaging the card.
Yep. And I'm almost there, you guys. There's still a speck. Okay, I just saw it. Hold on. There, you're going to see a bump. See the bump?
Right there. Yeah.
See the bump?
Yeah.
It's still there. So I'm going to go at it again. It cleaned. And here's what I feel good about.
it cleaned up there's like 2 big pieces of this stuff. And once I saw progress, I'm confident that I can get the rest of that thing done. So.
Have you ever?
Now, you also
overcleaned
said
your
that
car?
that cloth that you're using, Kurt, tell people that's not just a microfiber. What is that?
This right here. So there's my finishing microfiber, right, Kent? The ones I send in the kits, the real thin ones.
Yep.
This right here,
Yep.
you guys, is a microfiber that has, I always look for stuff that is lint free. This is a company that I like they're called Sunland, Sunland, and they make really nice microfibers. And even Kent, the little round applicator that I put in my kit?
Yeah.
That's Sunland too. They make really nice microfibers. So here's what I'm gonna do, guys. I'm gonna try this one more time, and if I can't get that thing to move, I'm gonna bring in a Q-tip and I'm gonna bring in some spray and see if I can get it to get the heck off of there.
Because I think what people don't, I mean, well, they do, but when these grading companies, they get in there, they're looking, I mean, I know SGC, I watched one of their videos, they have scans that they do that like can almost scan through the card. Like they look at this in more detail than you think.
You got it.
There it is. Look at gone.
I don't see that. Yeah, I don't see it anymore. Yeah.
And then you guys, sometimes you can't get everything cleaned. You know what I mean? But when I see, I'm going to try to bring this up closer to you, but it's right there. That's going to affect the surface.
Spec. Yeah.
Yep. That's going to affect the surface score because we naturally are attracted to our favorite surface, which is that part. But you guys, that's only 50% of the surface. So all the grading companies are going to look at the back. I've had cards that are perfectly look awesome on the front, but the back has been like even off center. But oddly enough, the front's centered, and it bangs up my centering because the back is off. Or there's times where go ahead. Sorry.
When you see people, they get a card back and they're like, "How is that a 5 or how is that a 7?" Because everything looks great, I'll use the term on the surface, but normally it's the stuff we're seeing right now that they're missing, right?
That's right. It is. And it's because I was over ambitious when I started grading, and I sent like 40 cards in at once, and I didn't know what the heck I was doing. And then I got the rude awakening of like, dude, you got to clean this stuff up. And you know what? That's like the more collectors that I bonded with and became like trusted buddies with, you guys would be surprised. I mean, there's probably people watching this show right now going, yeah, man, I've done this my whole life. I got my own technique and it works great. But there's just as many people that have never even attempted this before. Check that out.
Yes, come.
Yep.
And I'll even, guys, I'll come back to you guys and I'm going to show you some of my tools that I have just laying around here that I would suggest for collectors to get. So let's see. We back in action? Good.
Oh, yeah.
All right, cool.
Yep.
So you guys, let me just take you for a tour in here. This right here, you guys, like, is, my light microscope or my light magnifying glass here. I use that for everything. And then I have my good lights in here because my eyes, I mean, maybe the fact that my eyes are getting a little bit older, but I can't just rely on natural light. Don't clean a card in just natural light and think that it's good enough. Always, I do, guys, I do it in the studio in the dark, all ceiling lights off, and I only use these high-powered LEDs because they really will show the surface of a card. And you guys, that's what the mistakes I made early on was I just couldn't see it. And and to your point, you said these grading companies have like scanners and like they can see the matrix, you know what I mean? And like, if I'm going to like submit and expect to get my best return, I got to do my homework too. You know what I mean? So like, that's really my suggestion is get a good magnifying glass, you guys. And then whether it's I like to use my hands. So like for tonight's demo where I hope you guys could be able to see this. Okay. It's much easier when I don't have
to video it, I'll do it through I'll work directly through the magnifying glass, and this makes the job a lot easier. But I'm glad this one worked out. The Hulkin thing turned out pretty good, and I'm gonna tuck that one away. But I hope those demonstrations you guys came through okay.
Yeah, they look good.
Absolutely.
Because my biggest concern is like, I'll post pictures on my Instagram, but like I want to be like, oh, there's nothing even on there in the first place. You guys, it's little stuff. It's little stuff, you know. Like if I showed you guys, like I said, a card with a big old bend in it or scratches on it, I'm sorry, my stuff ain't gonna fix that. You know what I mean? But it's just those little spots that will go take you from, seriously, guys. I've learned it the hard way. I've paid for it, from, you know, a 7.5 to a 9. I swear that earlier you asked me, can I assess a card pretty well before grading it? Now I can. I write down every card I submit. I do the grades and I compare it to what I get back. And most times I am within a half a point off. PSA, you guys, is a little bit different because they don't typically do half scores.
Mm-hmm.
I like BGS a lot. I know, and I'm not a big seller, you guys. I'm more of a collector than a seller. I barely sell cards. I'm like addicted to buying them and keeping them, you know. so nobody
Sounds familiar.
so nobody
wait till you start getting Marvel cards.
Yeah, right. You know, it's like so the thing is, I'm kind of a hoarder, so I buy them and keep them all. But I do like to play that game with myself. Naturally, as a guy that like runs a card cleaning business, I'm real competitive, you know. So like when I get those cards that I think like this thing better be a 9.5 or a PSA 10, if I feel like it's going to be a PSA 10 or a 9.5, I'm pretty accurate with it. And then I'll ask myself too, like if it's a rare card, like, you know, like these, like this for example, we'll go sports for 2 seconds. This is a really nice Tom Brady. All right, very rare. This is his rookie year. They only made 2,000 of these, and centering 9.5, corners 9, edges 7.5, surface 8. You know what that says to me? There's room for a challenge there. I can get that. I can get
For
that.
sure.
I can get that after that.
I'm sorry.
That surface up. You know what I mean?
I can't get past what you said. You said this is a rare card. There's 2,000 of them. I don't know if you know this, but in Marvel Masterpieces 2016, 18, and 2020, 2,000 is the base card.
Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? And also, I won't riff too hard on this, you guys, but for the core Marvel people are already here and they're watching this and they're involved with this. You guys, I want success for everybody, and I don't have opinions about whether keeping your cards is the right thing to do or selling them or flipping them for a profit. You know what? My grandparents moved to this country because it's the land of the free, and you can do whatever the heck you want when it comes to your personal property and your business. Do whatever the heck you want.
Amen.
You know what I'm saying? So like the thing is, if you're regardless, when it comes to your personal property, do whatever you want with it. But my point is, you know, I think that it's, you know, the Marvel people, you guys are at a unique time right now. So if you are a buyer or a seller, or I don't judge anybody, do whatever the heck you want. It's your cards. Marvel people have a huge advantage right now, you guys. In sports cards, the biggest thing, even though they made 2,000 of these, we search that number, you guys, right on Beckett's website, and you'll see the population report. So yes, there is 2,000 of these, but Tom Brady sucked compared to in the year 2000. I loved him from being from Michigan, but nobody cared about him. So you know how many people got this card and threw it away or gave a crap about it?
Right.
So when you search the pop report on this card, it's like 11, you know? So there might be 2,000 of them made, but Beckett, there's 11 of them like this. So you guys with your PMGs and your low runs, you get these cards graded now at a high score. You guys are looking at like population 1s, population 2s, population 3s. And you know what? I don't care how good life is right now. There could be a season that hits you real. If you're not in a storm, you could be going into one. And, you know, if you needed some money and said, hey, you know, I got this great collection. It pains me to sell cards, but I was smart enough to like grade these and it's a super rare card, and even though I can't cherish it anymore, another collector would be happy to buy this off me. You're just putting yourself in a good position and you're slabbing it and keeping it safe, you know? So Marvel, that's one thing that I'm very interested in what you guys got going on is there is not a ton of PSA or BGS Marvel stuff, and you guys are like the pioneers of this stuff.
I've created a lot of cards, and the highest population card that I have is a Pop 2.
That's nuts. That's nuts. That's nuts. And you know, and it might catch on or it might not, you know what I mean? But like I tell you guys, like you guys are at a very cool stage in your collecting. Like you know, sports guys like me, like there's like 50,000 Michael Jordans graded from his rookie year, but they continue to set record revenue numbers. Just think of these PMGs and these ones of twos and ones of fives and things you guys have. They're never going to go down. I mean, they're Americana. They're exceptional pieces, you know, and you guys are lucky to have them.
I know they just did a video regarding sales of Spider-Man versus Michael Jordan recently. I don't know.
Well,
who that
yeah.
guy was.
So you're familiar with ComC?
Yeah, of course.
Well, ComC tracks every week. They track their sales of every subject. So they know which player or character is selling. Well, for the first time ever, 2 weeks ago, Spider-Man in volume of dollars outsold every other subject.
Wow.
Michael Jordan, Joe Burrow, Tom Brady, you name it.
And you know what's so marvelous about that too, you guys? Like Spider-Man's never going to tear an ACL.
We say it all the time.
You know?
He's not going anywhere.
Spider-Man ain't going anywhere. And when the new movie comes out 5 years from now or 10 years from now, there it is, man. It's like, it is there, you know? And so I think, you know, I'm not like a one-track thinker. Like I only buy, you know, we all know people in the hobby, right? That will be like, you know, have like their black and white opinions. Like I think that, you know, when it comes to, you know, anything that you're collecting, you know, when it comes to like, you know, these cards like this, it's such a bonus with these small print runs, and the Marvel machine is never going to stop, man. It's just like, that's why I'm so excited to be on this with you guys tonight, because I'm truly interested in the Marvel universe, because I can't even afford Tom Brady cards anymore. Mm-hmm. You know, I used to buy cards for $2,000 of Brady's that are now $25,000 a piece. I'm out, and I don't want to quit collecting. But it's just like,
I'm to Marvel.
It's crazy. I'm excited to be here, you guys. I'm happy to be here.
And what's interesting is you have this real unique time period, and I'm going to guess, Kurt, you're like us. You collected Marvel cards in the 90s.
Oh yeah.
In 96, Marvel went bankrupt. And likely some of the way in which you collected Marvel went away as well, like trading cards.
Yep.
And then you fast forward into the 2000s and into the 2010s, say 2011, 12, 13. Well, Marvel started producing, you know, high-end cards again, you know, low-numbered special cards, but only a very small amount of people even knew about it or even have access to it.
Yeah.
And it lay dormant in this kind of really neat little collector community where they hid out on chats and forums and in the backgrounds, and it was not public very much. And then that transpired all the way up into COVID. And COVID obviously awakened everybody to their nostalgia, to their past, and people started digging into Marvel cards. Well, the first thing they found was 90MU. Well, here's what's really funny. That blew up and people were paying thousands of dollars for PSA 1090MU. The reason they were doing that is because they didn't know the other cards existed.
Yeah.
And the Marvel card community that was there, that you know, unique little, we call them OGs now, they were laughing at the 90MU sale, saying, why are they buying that? That's nothing compared to what else is out there, right?
Totally.
And then content creators showed up and we started exposing it in a positive way, creating awareness. And then videos like Now This Today. And now people are like, oh, wait, Marvel cards is a thing. There's really special cards out there. They're low numbered. They have the best characters on it. And we're starting to watch this thing really blow up now.
It's an exciting time to be a part of it, you guys. I was blown away with the demonstration, or the episode you guys had the other night. Just the gentleman that had the wherewithal and
It was Brian. It was Amazing Spider Guys auctions.
yeah, just having the thoughts to buy all those PMGs, and just the demand and the value that they just turned into. Like, I was so proud for that guy. I was like,
he did an amazing job. He curated a beautiful set that's really special, and he was very fortunate he was able to do it at a time when no one else was really paying attention.
And it's like I was happy, and the bittersweet feeling kicks in of, oh yeah, he was smart and held them. I sold the biggest sports cards you got. Like we talk about Kaboom. I'm sure there's some guys here that go, collect Marvelguy cards. They make a silver Kaboom where it's a short print or an SSP, and then they make a gold Kaboom, which is an of 10. Then they make a green, which is a 101. I've never had a green, but I had 3 of the 10 Brady gold Kabooms, and I sold 2 of them.
Wow.
I sold them. I thought I was slick for buying them for like $500-600, and I was like, I might be crazy buying a card, but I liked the Kabooms because it was a comic of Brady. And I said, we're talking football and comics together. I'm a sucker for these, and I think they're going to be valuable. Well, I bought them all, and I held on to them for a couple years, and then they went up to like the $1,000 mark, and I was like, I'll sell them. And now they're like $100,000.
Right.
I saved one, and it's a beauty, and I'm glad I did. But hey,
good man.
You know what? But at the same time, other collectors now are enjoying that as well.
One of mine's on eBay for in a lot, 2 of them for $300,000. So somebody's gonna be enjoying that thing real soon.
I love it.
Oh well. Again, I live in abundance. Good for that guy. Good for that guy.
You can buy a lot of guitars with that, Kurt.
Oh God, I know. That's the more you guys get to know me, you'll see that when I get into something, I go all the way.
You don't do it part way.
Yeah, I'd say I got about 11 or 12 of them in here, but I consider the guitar and the adult fidget toy for people with like crazy brains like me. So if I don't have like a guitar or something to make some noise with, like I go crazy, so kind of keeps me focused.
Well, you need to be careful with Marvel cards because I say once for fun, twice for life. You dip your toe in it, you got to go all in.
I was just briefly. I mean, everybody has this story, so I won't make it too drawn out. But I was looking for some basketball PMGs, 1920, and I was looking for them. And I was so interested when I searched precious metal gems, and I saw Venom pop up, and I saw Wolverine pop up, and I saw Punisher pop up, and those would be like my 3 big dogs. And I thought they were cute, and I was like, "Oh, cute! They make PMGs of Marvel people," and they were like $40 or something. And I
might blow Kurt's mind right now. I don't know if he's seen these before, but we're talking about crossovers of sets from sports to Marvel.
Yeah. Oh, that is so. See,
it's a platinum portrait.
That is beautiful. Yes, I'm telling you, man. The Fleer's got it going on. I just love what they did, and I remember looking at those, and so then after watching you guys the other night, I was like, I want to see the values on those cards I was looking at, and they were literally like the guy was saying, $40, $50, $80, and I didn't buy them because I was so focused on getting some good deals on sports
cards.
There's
your jambalaya black suit Spidey.
I love it. I love that, dude. See, I can appreciate that absolutely right now. Would I want one of those? Absolutely. Oh, dude, no way.
Well, that's a special card. Tell them about that.
So this is a 1-of-1 sketch card.
That is nasty.
That's actually sketched on the card. That's the actual drawing.
Don't use any of my products on that.
I got another one for you.
You'll wipe it off. God, that is so nasty that you have that. I got the Jordan one of that.
That's Miles. That's Miles Morales. And then I'll show you one of these. It's a green PMG.
That is so beautiful.
Now that, just so you know how special it is, that's numbered to 10.
Yeah, so that's
so the blue Spider-Man that sold for $132,000 was of a different year, but that's the green.
Man.
Yeah, the blue's out of 49, the green. So in the 97 NBA PMGs, You know, they just had out of 10 green, out of 90 red. They didn't have blues. But in the first retro Marvel card set, they did out of 10 green, out of 49 blue, and out of 99 red.
Man, you guys got in, and that was I am good for you guys, man. Good for you guys.
I hear you say I got
By
in.
the way,
This cost me $9,000.
And it was
Wow.
money well spent.
I think so.
and that was a deal.
But it was still very expensive.
Like the most I ever spent on a card was 9 grand, and it was the 2000 Tom Brady rookie ticket contenders autograph, one of 2 autographs with him wearing his Pats jersey, and it was a BGS 8.5 10 auto, and I bought it for 9 grand, and everything bumped up a bit, and a guy offered me 17 grand for it, and I sold it, and I thought
Didn't
that
that
I
card
was
just sell for?
There's a championship ticket of the same.
Okay.
It looks exactly the same. The championship ticket is of 100. Those are millions of dollars.
Okay.
The one that I sold, but I bought more with it. But the thing is, if I look back at that one, and I think the latest comp on an 8.510 was like $90,000. And you know,
Hey, you're in the game. That's what matters.
yeah, I don't care.
So
Somebody else is enjoying it.
something that I wanted to say, we're about to make history in about 3 weeks, just a little less than that. So Justin and I and a bunch of our content creator friends and people that are in the Marvel community, there's a big show in Atlanta called the Culture Collision. It's the majority of it is sports, but it's different things, shoes and Pokemon. But obviously, we're going to be the Marvel contingent. Under that roof will be, for the first time ever, the most Marvel cards in one place in history.
Man, you guys, it's
Because
the
we're all coming.
The wave is definitely, it's time to hang 10 on that wave, man. That is like coming.
There will be millions of dollars of Marvel cards at that show.
And you guys, I tell you what, if people are collecting Marvel cards for a business perspective, it's a great time, I think, as well, because like something that blows my mind, and this is another topic for another show, but I get it, but I say I get it because I kind of get it and I kind of don't. I am with sports cards. I think we're gonna get in a place where people are spending money on baseball prospects and basketball prospects and football prospects like they've already won 20 Super Bowls. Right. It's like, I don't even know. Like, I'm seeing like Burrows, and even when Herbert was, you know, in his first and second year, and I'm seeing like Herbert RPAs selling for like 50, 60 grand. I'm like, how many Super Bowls does this guy have to win to maintain that? You know? And then the guys that you guys are collecting they're already goats. They're already goats. And every new movie that comes out cements these goats even harder. And some of these movies are making people that when we like, I'm looking at some Marvel stuff that are like popular movies now, and they were comics I didn't even care about as a kid, but now they're relevant. So it's almost like they like Marvel characters can be like Ant-Man, who I never gave a crap about, but now like he's legit to collect and cool, I'm sure. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's almost like Marvel
just so you know, on Ant-Man has the funniest line to me in all of Marvel. It's when he's going through the time simulator and he comes back and he says, "Somebody peed my pants."
Yeah, dude. I was so impressed with that flick. I had no idea.
It's so hard.
It was great, you know, but I do think this because like the Marvel's gonna, you know, feature somebody new or somebody more obscure. Like Deadpool came out in like as when I was a kid, Deadpool was like my favorite art. And but he wasn't a huge player when we were kids, you know. But now, dang man, I imagine he's one of the tops, right?
About to happen with Moon Knight.
Yes. Black Panther.
So this card is just the base metal blaster of Deadpool. This card in a blue variation today sold for over $8,000.
Get out.
Yeah, it's a tough sell to swallow. It's crazy that it sold for that.
I know. And like like Deadpool was, the art with Jusko's art was just so nasty and so good, and just like you could touch it, it was so good. And like and then, you know, he laid, I mean, comic guys knew him, but the world didn't know him. And now Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool, and boom, there's the stock. It's through the roof, and it ain't going anywhere. He's
a top 10.
He's one of the players now.
But wait, and I'm going to have to go in just a minute, unfortunately. But wait until X-Men is coming. You had the cartoon from the 90s. They're redoing it again in Disney Plus next year, X-Men 97, and eventually they're going to end up in the MCU. I mean, when we see Wolverine in an MCU setting by Disney, it's going to be nuts.
Awesome.
Because it's Spider-Man, X-Men, then the Avengers, but because of the licensing rights, Disney went with Avengers first. People don't realize how much more popular X-Men is in comparison to Iron Man, Thor, Captain America.
And there's so much room, and there's and even like I imagine for guys that don't even have close to the degree of cards you guys have, there's still probably affordable options in Marvel for like even younger people to get into it, you know? And that's the beauty of it, because right now, you guys, you can't even buy a damn box of football cards or basketball cards at a store anymore because everybody hunts out and buys 50 at a time. And it's
but grading is a part of what you're talking about, because you can still pick up raw cards, but grading, we're not a mature hobby yet for Marvel. We don't have a massive graded population.
Yep.
And so these base cards, which are still really cheap, are going to start having some more desirability as the graded population curates.
That's right. Top
teams.
report, man. Top report. You go get even Kent, the one that you're holding. There's probably not a ton of them graded, even though that card's awesome. And if you needed to sell it, you could probably sell it in 10 seconds. Yeah. But when it comes back as a PSA 9 or 10, well, it's times 8 now.
Well, hey, let me put it for you real quick.
I mean, that's just a base metal blaster. I haven't looked at the pop report because I wasn't planning on sending this in for grading, but it's a really good thought. Hey, go look at the pop report and see how many are out there.
Well, the Spider-Man masterpiece that you had, there was 350,000 boxes.
Oh, the one he has.
The 1992 Marvel masterpiece. 300. You got a box?
Those.
So that's the 10. I'm not even talking about the 10.
Right. Yeah.
So there's even more than that. And that Spider-Man still sells for over $1,200.
It's amazing.
PSA 10.
It's amazing. I mean, I'm glad it does, because I think that set, man, is just off the charts. And I don't know how much the 10s are worth currently, but like I have like 4 or 5 of them that I just bought throughout the years and just tucked away.
What's that 10? 93? Is that a 93 10?
And it's the same. It's got the Lost Ladies and all the Spectra cards. It's the 92.
I don't even know what year is that.
It's
92.
It's 92. You get the full set in the 10 and the Lost Ladies.
Yep.
In the box, you don't necessarily get the full set, and you don't get any Lost Ladies. But you get the Battle Spectre gems, Lost Ladies, and the full set in the 10. Automatic.
Yep. And
be careful with 10s. Cards get ding corners in the 10s if you're not careful.
I believe it. They're all sealed from the factory, so I just left them in there. And if you, we could always connect later. If it makes sense to bust them open and get the key players out, I'd be for it. But I just like them.
He hasn't seen my hat.
ABR, always be ripping.
Yeah, man. No,
the hat that I normally wear on my channel. It's because it's like a trademark now. It just has a giant ABR with exclamation point, which means always be ripping, baby.
I like it.
So
that's
like it. Yeah, that's our deal.
That was like, that was just a pivotal time for me. And it was like the thing where I had 3 buddies that I grew up in the country, man. We'd get on our bikes and go to house to see if anybody got new cards, and anybody want to do some trading or some bartering, so.
Well, hey, Kurt, I want to tell you, you have a great spirit about you, man. I've really enjoyed. We've been here for an hour and 40 minutes.
God, it flew by.
I could go another hour and 40 minutes. Unfortunately, I don't have my laptop plugged in. My battery. So
we'll tell everybody good night, but you guys, man, cool as hell, dude. You guys think the invite just to bring me on here and,
that's all Kent.
Share the information. Like I appreciate it, Kent. And like I said, man, I ain't gonna push my stuff on anybody or bug anybody. But if you guys want to learn anything or have questions, hit me up. And Kent,
we'll be sure to link it in the descriptions of both videos so people can find you on Instagram. Or do you have a website?
Guys, it's real easy to find. It's Kurt's Card Care, kurtzcardcare.com, Kurt's Card Care on YouTube, Kurt's Card Care on Instagram, and I used it because I have a kind of you don't hear. It's like I don't meet too many dudes named Kurt, so I figured it would be easy to remember. You know what I mean? Rather than this, that, or the other. You know.
It works, man.
No,
I love it.
dude, I look forward to this all week, and you made my day, Kent, for just like supporting my product and believing in me, and a forum like this really helps because, I just want to give options to collectors, man. Like we spend hours on this stuff and thousands of dollars, and nothing's worse when you buy something awesome and the chase card comes out and it's got like a line down the middle of it. You're like, God, really? Really?
We are familiar.
I know. Collectors problems, but you guys,
I mean, that's, Spidey and I, we're all about right now. We're on this mission to just educate people, and whether it be at shows. I mean, I go to card shows, and I set up a table. People don't even know what a Marvel card is. Even people that are in the card business have no clue. So we're on an education mission. That's what we're trying to do, get the word out. And I think part of it, now that grading is becoming more important, is something, the service that you can provide with people that they can help themselves make their very valued collectibles even more valuable.
And in closing, you guys, anybody watching this, there's like, hey, Kurt, I'm thinking about grading some cards, or I got a slab I need to crack. How do you do this? You guys, you're welcome to send me all the questions you want. I love this community. It's something that I just find a lot of joy in. It's fun. I talked to you guys for an hour and a half, and I feel like it's like I've known you forever. And it's like, I want to come down and hang with you guys. You know what I mean? Like, that's a cool bond about this community. And you guys, if cleaning cards not for you, skip it, man. I'm not going to bug you to do it. But turns out you guys, a huge part of the collecting population wants to take care of their property a little bit better in an ethical, like normal way, and this is what I got going on right now. So if you have questions, hit me up. And you two, I can't thank you enough for being such great hosts and letting me kind of, share my crazy thoughts and my homemade stuff with you guys. You know what I mean?
Love it. Really appreciate you, Kurt.
Yeah, you guys rock, man.
Man.
Have a good night, and feel free to reach out anytime, you guys. And I just can't thank you enough. You guys rock.
The only thing I have to say is Marvel cards, baby, and I'll let Justin finish us off.
As always, everybody, have a marvelous day.
Later, guys.